And the Vicious Chats, I am Tim Vicious. With me today, she is a content creator. You may have seen her stuff out there floating around on YouTube, Facebook. She is also a trailblazer because she's the first woman to be on this show as well.
Oh,
So,
thank you. That's
everyone.
awesome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the lovely Ms. Daria. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, meant to put that in the intro. Also, you're a PA kid just like me. I'm pretty sure I'm actually technically kind of in your backyard because I'm in Erie, so I'm like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours away from you.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm originally a transplant. I'm from Philadelphia, so. Where it's hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, all within the first 4 hours of the day.
Oh, I hate it. Well, I'm originally from Pennsylvania. It's about like an hour north of Pittsburgh. I've actually been up to Presque Isle before. This is like years ago, though. I think I went for like my sister's like bachelorette party or something. It's like 2012-ish, I want to say. But yeah, I used to live in Charlotte for a couple of years, and like I miss that weather. Like I plan on like hopefully like getting out because like I like warm weather.
Yeah, my brother, he was in the Marines. He was stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So anytime he would say, "Hey, I got a 96 coming up," I'll come on down, catch you. So yeah, trust me, I get that all too well. So brought up, you do content work. Like, what kind of stuff is it that you specifically do for those who may not be aware of your work?
Well, I have like the adult friendly, and then I have like the not adult friendly. Like, so I do are we on YouTube? I'm trying to think of like the words I'm allowed to say. See, I'm so used to like being on TikTok where we have to like censor ourselves. I'm like, okay, what can I say? What can I not say?
Yeah, don't worry about censoring yourself. I don't know if you've ever seen my other. I let the curses flow. If it comes out, I meant to tell you that beforehand. Again on me, I forgot to give you your do's and don'ts.
Yeah. Well, I'm a potty mouth, so.
Yeah, if the fuck comes out naturally, go ahead. But yeah, you do two different kinds of work on there, basically. Not safe and safe for work. So
yes.
Simple to make it more simple. The safe for work stuff, what kind of work is it that you do on there?
Well, so I have been making videos on like Instagram and TikTok for the past couple of years. My Instagram reels are actually like starting to get traction, so that's cool, and that's actually kind of new. TikTok, I mean, my followers, I have like 5,000 followers. They're talking about banning it though, so like I have been like trying to expand my content to other platforms, and like I've never been one to just like focus on just like one thing anyhow. Like I always want to, what they call it, like putting like your egg in different baskets type thing.
Diversify, I think is the right term.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I can't word today.
It's all good. You're talking to a dyslexic, autistic guy, so.
Yeah, I think I'm ADHD, so sometimes it's like my thoughts cannot keep up with like my speech, and then I like end up stuttering. I'm like, I promise I'm smart. But like my favorite form of like communication is writing. So I actually originally as an art major, but then like I think I settled on like psychology, but I minored in creative writing because I wanted to keep like that creativity going. And like I don't know, I loved it.
All right, cool. So like the main kind of work you just for your reels, it's basically like you're doing like comedy skits like knock knock, who's there, that kind of stuff. Or is it more like, hey, check this out. I found if you do this and this, that can help. Because I've seen a lot of different kind of stuff pop up all over, and I've seen your work. I'm just trying to help give an idea for those who may not have.
I've never been asked that before. Right now, it's like all over the place. Like sometimes I do hop on board and do trends, but also like I don't want to just rely on trends. So it's also like a mix of like just me adding like my personal touches. Trying to think of like how I would describe my humor. It's honestly like all over the place. I would say that like I am my niche. Like it's just like me, and like I'm not super dedicated to like a box or anything. I mean, I kind of really like a goth aesthetic. I would say that's like one of my not like go-to looks, but I kind of sort of.
All right. So sometime we should eventually expect to see like some black and white reel where you're sitting there looking like Adams reading like a Edgar Allan Poe poem at some point. Or did I
Yeah,
just
but
spark a
I love
potential idea?
Morticia.
Think I
Well,
may have just sparked an idea for you.
Well, I wanted to do Morticia like as a cosplay. I never got the chance, but it's kind of similar to Elvira. But so I did a cosplay as Elvira. This is like probably a couple of years ago. I need to go do it again. But me and Elvira share a birthday because we're both born on 9/17.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Date in September also works out as a good month because that's also when my son was born. So
Aw.
yeah.
What day was he
So
born?
18th. So he's actually the day after
Oh,
you.
he's in the middle. I swear to God, 'cause my birthday's the 17th. There's the 18th, and then the 19th is my boyfriend's birthday, and then my sister has the birthday September 19th also.
Oh, you see, there you go. So
Yeah,
September's pretty much covered for you.
I know so many people with September birthdays. It's crazy.
Oh, well, you, my nephew, and my son are the only three. So if anyone else is listening is in September, feel free to let me know so I can add you to my list. But so now that we've given a brief rundown on your safe for work, don't be afraid. You don't have to worry about censoring yourself, but the not safe for stuff that you do.
Hmm.
Feel free to share with the listeners about the kind of stuff that you do.
Yeah. So right now, I am like sort of in the process of like not I want to say like rebranding, but I'm like building my websites. Um, like I have OnlyFans, I have Fansly, FanView, and Playboy up at the moment. So I have been trying to make content for those, and primarily I just do like photography. Like I do a lot of like nudes and like solo performance. I would say that it's more so like on the side of like just nude for the moment, but that's just because that's like in the phase of like making that content. I want to say I want to go through my content like a couple more times and like build like onto them if I'm making sense, because I also want to do like a Patreon, and there's different tiers and there's like different levels, so you have to be like, okay, well, what do I want for a podcast, what do I want for, I don't know, pay-per-view stuff like that.
Or like a
It gets
one-on-one
very
meet.
specific very quickly, I want to say.
All right, fair enough. So like when you go to do that, like what goes through the creative process for you when you go to think, I want to do these pictures, but it's not just like, hey, I'm going to hold a picture up and then click, take a picture of me right out the shower and then put it on there. You know, because I know some people will go and do that, but based on how you're describing it, it's like you put in the thought process of, no, I want to make this like tasteful work. What kind of what's the thought process going through when you go to do
Yeah.
that?
Well, so I think I would want it to be a little bit more tasteful. At the moment, like I just feel like I'm still a beginner with photography, and just like trying to learn everything. But also like I tell everybody, I'm like, this is like the most resolution I've ever seen myself. And like I feel very like confident with myself, and people, make sure like if you ever feel like you don't look good, like make sure you know what lighting you look good in. And like also for me a lot of it was like color theory, so like knowing what colors I look good in and like your style and like all these little things go into like if you feel good about like how you look online. And one of the things about me is like I'll be posting my like pictures or videos like safe and not safe, either like just like this where with a bare face, or like all made up. And that's because like as a like when I was in high school and stuff, like I would be so insecure. I would not do my hair and makeup and stuff. And I play around with it, but I try not to get like super crazy with it, you know?
like you don't want to do overload the Photoshop work. I get that. I went to school for graphic design.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
this is about the most I've ever gotten a chance. Doing this show is actually, between this and the other YouTube stuff I do, this is the most I've ever gotten a chance to use that degree. So
That's awesome.
yeah. So now
I always
obviously,
wanted to do graphic design.
it's yeah, it's basically you're sitting kind of like this. You do the work, you come up with the idea, you do a lot of has been for me, but I never complain about it because I I enjoy the work, and if you don't enjoy the work, don't go doing it. That was what I was always taught with that, and you do this kind of work too, and that's really great to see. So obviously with content work, you're going to deal with trolls and little trollops trying to heckle you and mess with you because I've dealt with that myself. How is it you go about that when you deal with that kind of criticism, like, oh, you're just an OnlyFans hoe or something like that?
It's so funny because, like, honestly, I really don't get a lot of that.
You are one of the only, I think you are the only woman I have ever talked to that has one that has never gotten any kind of trolling or criticism for it.
I mean, like, I don't know if it's been such a long time ago that maybe I'm like, oh no, and probably people think about, but like, maybe I'm just like so far away from it that like I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like I grew up like, so I grew up in a very like Christian, like Catholic, like family, and I just felt like they always like held me to like all these like rigid standards. And so like now that like I'm older, it's like I love doing the opposite of that after unpacking all that religious trauma and stuff. And just so it's kind of like when I was like 14, 15 years old, like my grandma would like I would just be trying to do my nails or like put makeup on. And she's like, no, you look like a whore. And so it's so funny how like at that time you don't even have to like do anything sexually to be whore adjacent, like the bar is literally on the ground for me.
Yeah, it's I grew up in an Irish Roman Catholic family,
Oh, so
so
you're aware. Yeah.
yeah, and I did 4 years in an all-boy Catholic high school, so I understand the concept of prison mentality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that, and I get that you deal with those kind of trials and tribulations. So, what kind of words of encouragement would you give anyone that's like, I kind of want to, but at the same time, I don't know because I don't want to deal with this or that kind of criticism. Like if
My
somebody's feeling
my
fully
biggest
ready
thing
to,
is like there's so many people that like are literally in my inbox and they're like they literally ask me that. So that is one of the most frequently asked questions I get. Um I would say this is literally a business. Like there are so many people who think they're just going to magically get rich and that's not the case for everybody. You got to put the work in. And so whenever you're really serious about your business, you should like literally reach a point in your life where like people's like BS should not matter. Like you have to kind of like learn to hone in and focus on like that because like I think this entire time I have been underestimated. I have family and friends that treat me like I am unemployed. And it's just like, no, I have a life and I have like things going on. I make my content during certain times of the day because, it's called the golden hour. It's like whenever, like, for photography, for graphic design, you've probably heard of it for, like a little bit. But
yeah, for
there's
me,
a
it was
certain,
always like at the middle of the night, the vampire hours were when I would always sit there twiddling at the keyboard, hitting it the hardest.
yeah. Well, I mean, like I was also a night owl. Like when I was younger, like I'd stay up till like 3, 4 in the morning. But that's also because like that was whenever I'd get the most alone time because I was the baby of the family, and so
Oh, you were the youngest?
Yeah.
Same here. There you go. See? There you go.
I was born in 1990.
85, so I got 5 years on you. I'm an old man. I'm
My
an old
boyfriend's
man.
84.
All right, so he's got a year on me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
like my sisters were all like between 6 to 11 years older than me. So I have like the older influence.
yeah. So aside from doing the content work, I know we've been following each other for a while, and we've had conversations plenty of times, and I've seen a lot of the stuff that you post, and I give you a lot of credit. You are open on a lot of things some people might not feel comfortable with. You were saying before, it was about a few years ago, you were doing medical work, and then you were like, yeah, you know what, I'm not feeling this, I'm going back into content work.
Yes.
What was the thought process into that? Because that takes a lot of courage, because some people will be like, that's guaranteed money and this isn't.
I was just so unhappy like with the healthcare. Honestly, for me, it felt more like an educational thing that I had to prove. It's like, oh, because like for the longest time, it's like it was pushed about like how like smart I am. And yeah, I do believe I'm smart, but also at the same time, it's like, okay, so you don't think I'm smart enough to like do whatever I want and to like have my own art business? And so like those are the questions I started to ask. Um, so for me, also, I'm only like 4'11" and like 110 pounds. And so like to be quite honest with you, a lot of medical work is very labor intensive. And so it was just not a career that was going to work out for me. I have a undergrad psychology degree, and then I started like a biomed master's degree through Liberty University, ironically. I started there because I thought the entire program was going to be online, but I think they like switched it after I started. And so it was like weird. And then like I had to like end up going there. Um,
I had that
however,
problem with Edinburgh up here.
I'm
Like
sorry,
after I had that same problem with Edinburgh up here, Edinburgh University up here after I graduated and I got
they
my
switched their
associate.
program.
Yeah, I went to go follow up and try and get a master's. They wanted me to actually move onto campus. And I'm like, guys, I'm
No.
20. I just started I'm just trying to attempt to get my stuff together. And, I don't even own a car. What? So yeah, I get that all too well. I get the struggle on that. So wait, so the creative process for when you go to do your stuff, is it like, okay, or not so much the creative process, the schedule and plan? Because I know firsthand, scheduling is always a pain in the butt, because we talked for a little bit. We were bouncing like this time. Oh, how about this time? But how do you feel you got it set up? Do you got it like, okay, Monday I'm going to do this, Tuesday I'll take a rest day, Wednesday I'll do this, or is it like does it feel like, this feels like
Well,
a good time to go and try and do something?
so I actually just got a couple calendars here the other day. I'm also like in the middle of like figuring out my scheduling because like I don't just the past couple weeks, I think I've just been working so hard to like churn out all my content. I think it was like within like a week or two, I had a year's worth of content scheduled out on 4 platforms. And that was just for photos. And so, but I have to go in and do like the videos and stuff. Um, but yesterday I literally, it was like, oh, I don't want to look at a single screen. But this doesn't count though. Like, I went and I played like Stardew Valley, but like that, I didn't want to like be like doom scrolling, I guess I should say. I don't know. But like, I didn't pick up my phone at all. It was nice.
Cool. Because I know firsthand, it took me forever to figure out my rhythm and my routine to get my stuff going for my show. So I'm always, seeing and hearing other people's thought processes on how they do their shows and on how they do their work. I always find it fascinating. I always like to cherry pick people's brains on it, because you never know, your ideas could help kickstart something on
Yeah.
me and vice versa.
I love to batch content. So that's just something I started doing. Um, before I would have all this content and I could like literally like drag it out, but like have it not be like that bad. And I wasn't doing that before. It's just like I was making too much content and it's just like nobody would see it. It came off a little bit of spammy. So like I'm also trying to like reel it in a little bit and focus more on like quantity over or quality over quantity. I almost made a pun about titties, but because
Hey, go
OnlyFans.
ahead. Like I said, this is on Spotify and YouTube, so
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so also I do want to just go and schedule days off because like I think I joked like I always wanted a 9 to 5 because I've never had a 9 to 5. Like truly, some people are like, "Oh my god, this is so draining." It's like I've never got it because I've always been like a night shift type of person. So it's like okay, well, I want my own 9 to 5 or whatever it is, and so I've been trying to schedule that way because whenever I wake up, I try to like it's called like eating the frog or whatever. Try to get like the worst part of your day behind you, so then like I could just like enjoy the rest of my day. Also because we're talking about like I'm ADHD, and so there is a lot of discipline that comes with this, and people will not understand that. They think like I'm just on like which goes back to the whole you have to be 100% like true to yourself and know exactly who you are to like, establish a business or to just like do content creation or just anything in general because people have so many opinions and it's like no, like it's so dumb.
Yeah. So, I that's really impressive on that. So when you say your TikTok stuff, I tried doing TikTok again. I'm an old man. I couldn't understand it. Like, what goes through the process? What do you do for that kind of work on there? Because I know
So
you've put some of them on Instagram and all.
yeah, well, I say I'm not really. I wouldn't say TikTok is just for fun, I think, for me at this point. I just love expressing myself. I used to be like a huge like shit poster on there, and I still am. That's also because like I just like love getting my ideas out. And I mean the same thing that was literally me for years. I was just like shit posting out into the void. And then I was like, okay, well, after a while, like you're starting to take yourself seriously and you're like, okay, maybe I can't actually like do this. And just like slowly over time, like just getting my shit together, hopefully.
Oh well, fingers crossed, because I'm still trying to
Mhm.
figure out my stuff. I'm still
I
trying to get my
know.
stuff situated. you know, I got a very active 14 going on 15-year-old. So I'm
Aw.
yeah. So if you ever see me looking like something out of Night of the Living Dead, that's why. So so have you ever had to deal with any kind of awkward moment where like somebody may have seen your work online, like, oh hey, I've seen you. You were the such and such girl.
So I think it was like this is so funny, but like I wanted to make sure I was 100% like okay with like leaving healthcare for good. So I got like a job as a CNA, and I swear to God, like one of the guys there like recognized me, and he was like talk. He's like, "Hey, you're blah blah blah," and I was like, I didn't say anything. I just walked away.
I'm guessing it was from the not safe for sight.
You know what though? Because at that point, I don't think I was posting inappropriate content.
All right.
I think I was just like putting videos online. I was still under a pseudonym though.
Okay. Okay.
hmm
Got like the four different ones that you do, the four different sites on there. Where can people find them on find there?
I think it should be at Daria Rizzelli. Oh, I forgot. Also Pornhub.
Oh, see, there you go.
hmm
Hopefully, maybe who know, maybe next year you'll get nominated for one of the awards. You can get one of those
Listen,
nice jackets.
the funny thing is, I think Egg. She is a solo performer, and she just got one or whatever. And the funny thing is, I had no idea who she was until I was on TikTok, and people would literally comment all the time and call me her. And I was like, what? And so I went and I looked her up, and she's like a girl. She's like 4'10". So, and we're both like short AF. However, I think she's like 10, 11 years younger than me. So that was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'll take it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, but
You know,
she's cute.
well, after you're done this, feel free to try and slide into her DMs, see if maybe you guys can work on something. Do like some
She's so
tasteful
much more
pictures
established
together.
than I am.
Well, doesn't hurt, if it, might help kickstart your career a bit.
It's true. I also got called Gypsy Rose Blanchard, though. So those are my two comparisons I've gotten.
I'm sorry,
Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
That's. I wanted to make sure I just heard that right. So yeah, that's wow. Okay, I think that's gonna be on how I mark you on my contacts if I ever want to bring for when you come back for if you ever come back on.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you work so this whole time, if you've been watching on YouTube, you see it. If you're just listening, you've been working on something. Are you working on a new short story or something?
I'm just doodling. I like to doodle whenever, it's supposed to make you a better listener.
Fair enough. I mean, that's on how I came up with the idea for my tattoo on my hand. I did that design when I was in algebra class in high school.
I'm trying to. I put this thing over. Sorry to cut you off.
It's okay.
It's that I'm a hog for you, baby. So I think that's a song. I think I was listening to 60s, 70s music the other day, and I was like, oh, I don't want to forget this, and I ran over and I wrote it down.
Oh, I'd say there you go.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was just telling them how I came up with the idea for the hand tattoo drawing. I made that all the time when I just was doodling one day in high school in algebra class and was like, yeah, I like it. So that kind of became my quote unquote corporate logo. And I put it on everything. Excuse me. But so you also said you do cosplay work, you do cosplay stuff. Have you ever done anything for any Comic-Cons or anything for any of the local Comic-Cons or anything around here? Because I know Erie does a Comic-Con every year during the summer, and they try and push for big cosplaying.
I've never been to Erie. That would be fun. However, I think there's a couple happening in Pittsburgh that I want to go to this year. I was debating. I used to love Sailor Moon, which was obviously one of the first animes I watched because I'd come home from school and it was just on Cartoon Network after. But I wanted to be an unconventional character. I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh yeah, I'm anime nerd, so I get it.
Okay. Yeah, so of course, Sailor Moon's so
real men watch Sailor Moon.
I wanted to be it's like Sailor Neptune with I think she had or a Sailor Pluto, one of them, I forget, because I had my silly gummy. But the girl, she has a very long, dark, straight green hair, and then she has a little bun at the top.
I can't remember her name now. Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts all day now.
But her uniform's super cute because it's black, and I was like, "Ooh, that's so cool!" Because going back to the whole goth thing, I love black. It's one of my favorite colors. So, or not colors, I don't know.
All right, that's that's cool. So, since you're a PA kid, also, I gotta ask it because apparently everyone always has this argument one way or another: WaWa or Sheetz.
Sheetz.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, I grew up a WaWa kid, but I can say with no problem whatsoever, I definitely dig the hell out of Sheetz.
I just felt with Sheetz, you can I don't really have too much experience with WaWa TVH. With Sheetz, you could go in and you could get whatever you want whenever you want. But with WaWa, I feel are they open 24 hours?
It depends on it depends. Some are,
Okay.
some aren't. The closest one to here is in the Poconos.
Okay. That's so funny. I would have to look and see from here. Um, but like with WaWa, I felt like unless I just went there to a little local one and they were doing it wrong, I felt like they had a very small selection. It
Hmm,
felt very like they were just focused on breakfast or something. Unless I was just like focused on time of day.
that might have been it. I mean, anytime when I was ever there, when I was a kid growing up, they would do the breakfast stuff, but they never did breakfast all day like you can at Sheetz because one just opened up around the corner from me, and it's my son. He's like, "Hey, Dad, can we go to Sheetz, please?" So like, well, twist my arm, make me have to, make
See,
me have
because
to
I was
enjoy
trying to, I
myself.
want to go to Sheets now too. Um, but I was trying to think. Like, so do you think Sheets or Wawa has like a same menu, or who do you think has the bigger menu?
I gotta say, Sheetz has probably got the better menu,
Okay, yeah.
and
So
that's saying
that
something
was my
because
only
again, I'm a Philly
answer.
boy, and
That was
again,
my
this is
reason why.
yeah, and again, this is coming from a Philly boy, so in a way, I almost kind of feel like I'm betraying my culture.
I know. But if you go
I,
to a restaurant and you want a bunch of options,
yeah, true. So I'm getting a red light. We're coming down to the end of the show. So again, want to give first off, I want to say thank you because I always do appreciate it. It always does mean a lot whenever anyone takes the time out of their day to come on here. You could be doing a million different things. You're taking the time to actually sit here with this mook. So you
yeah,
got my
thank you for having
appreciation on
me.
that. So where can people find you? What's the
I'm
best
I'm
way
I'm
to they can
awkward at
find you?
first, but then I'll hopefully get better. But where can you guys find me? I think my link tree might be in my bio. On Twitter, or I'm sorry, at X, at Daria
His
Rizzelli.
mama named it Twitter. Its name is Twitter.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah. So on Twitter, and then I'm on Instagram. My Instagram reels, like I said, they've been doing very well. And by that, I look for at least like over 10K for the most part. And in the past couple weeks, they've been blowing up. So I think I'm about to hit 800 or 900 followers the past couple of days. I'm very thankful. I've been getting some followers from there. I mean, I am on TikTok, but who knows with this TikTok ban? I have like almost 5,200 followers if you want to help me out. And yeah, then my other content, I have Fansly, FanView, I said Playboy, Pornhub. Yeah, so I'm everywhere.
Okay, thanks. I'll make sure to put a link for the link tree in the description for the episode. Folks, thanks again for taking the time to listen, Aria. Thanks for
Yeah,
taking the time to
thank
come
you so
on.
much.
Do appreciate it, folks. Hope you all enjoyed this. Have a good day.
Me too.